So today we're going to be doing a oil change on this 2015 Buick Encore. It has a 4-cylinder turbocharged 1.4 liter engine. This takes Dexos 1 Gen 2 oil. So I'll kind of go through specifics of which oils those are, and there's also something particular you're going to want to pay attention to with the oil filter. So let's kind of go over here and see what the materials are here. So as far as materials, we have the oil and oil filter. So you can see here it says Dexos 1 Gen 2 approved, which is what you're going to need for these Ecotech 4-cylinder motors. You can go online, which I will put a link in the description to, but just some notes on Dexos approved oils. So Valvoline Full Synthetic is what I'm going to be using. Dexos 1 Gen 2 approved. Amazon Basics is approved. O'Reilly's Full Synthetic as well as Napa Full Synthetic is approved. So if you're looking to do this on the cheap with GM approved oil, that's what you can do. Another thing to take note of, this is pretty important, is the oil filter cap, whether it's a black cap or brown cap. And there's basically a bypass valve in here, or there isn't, so you have to make sure which one you have, otherwise you can cause some serious engine damage. So I'll read this, but I'll also put a link in the description. It says GM 1.4 engines may be equipped with either a Hengst or UFI manufactured oil filter housing and cap. Each housing is unique and requires a specifically designed filter to function properly. So if you have a Hengst housing, you're going to want to use a Napa filter 7674. So I already looked, found the Napa 7674. I have a Hengst oil filter housing cap, so just want to be particularly careful of that. So you have your oil filter, got some gloves, funnel to do the oil. One thing I suggest is using some seafoam. So pour about 1/3 of this into the crankcase, and then drive anywhere from 20 to 100 miles before you do your oil change. And this will just remove a lot of carbon deposit buildup. It'll get stuck in the oil filter, and then when you change your oil and oil filter, you can remove kind of a lot of those deposits. So those are it for the materials. As far as the tools go, for the oil filter cap, you're going to need a 15/16 socket. For the drain plug, you're going to need a 10mm socket. Just to get access on top of the oil filter cap, you're going to either want a wobble extension like this, or you can use a universal joint adapter like this to get access to it. You need an oil catch, as well as jack stands or ramps, and that should pretty much do it. So let's get started here. So I've already jacked up the vehicle, and I'll kind of show you where the jack points are. So you can see right, kind of where it's scratched up right there, that's where I jacked it up, and then I put the jack stand right on the frame rail. So do that on both sides just to give yourself enough clearance. So before you do anything, you want to make sure your car's in park. Pull the e-brake and put some blocks down behind the back wheels to make sure the car doesn't go anywhere. You want to try and do this on as level of the surface as possible. We're just going to pop the hood latch. Feel around for the little lever there. So you can see on top of the oil cap here, you got Dexos 5W30, so that's what we're going to be using. Right here, you can see the oil filter housing cap, and you can read that it's black and it has the Hengst logo on it. So just to show you where that oil filter housing cap is. So First thing we're going to do is drain the oil. So we'll get the oil catch 10mm socket and undo that bolt and drain the oil. So now we're underneath the car. You can see this exhaust here, and here's your 10mm bolt that you're going to want to unscrew. Place your oil catch right below it and catch all the oil. Alright, got it.
So.
Alright, so now I got the oil draining there. This is where the gloves come in handy. Okay, so now we have the oil filter cap here. So we got a 15/16. I got this connected to a 6-inch wobble, connected to another 6-inch extension, just to give me some clearance. Alright, so now I got the oil filter out here. So you can see this one, like it says here in the description, it has the same kind of connector on top and doesn't have this bypass valve as seen here with the brown cap. So again, this is the Hengst black cap. Make sure you have the proper cap and proper oil filter for whatever vehicle that you have. So here's our new oil filter, and along with it comes a new O-ring. This is another thing that we're going to want to replace. Here's the old O-ring on the oil filter cap. So you're going to need a small screwdriver or a pick tool. So now we're just going to get this pick tool, pop that O-ring off, and we'll put the new one on there. These are all oily. Make sure that fits into the same slot, and rub that a little bit with some of that old oil just so it gets a nice tight seal. When you put it back on, we'll put this oil filter back in, make sure that snaps into place.
I'm about to pass out from the fumes.
Alright, so now we got the new oil filter in, new O-ring on. So we're just going to plug that back in. Hand tighten that first so you don't cross thread anything. Now we're going to take our 15/16 again with a wobble socket extension and another 6-inch extension on it. And tighten that down. So now we got oil filter in. So now it's about time to put the new oil in. First, you just want to make sure you put the drain plug back in. Don't make that mistake. So now I'm just going to go underneath and put this back in. So again, first hand tighten it so you make sure you don't cross thread it. Then torque this down. It says 14 Newton meters to get the proper torque spec on the drain bolt. So now we're just going to grab our funnel, and this wasn't anywhere in the manual, so I had to look it up online, but this particular Buick Encore 2015 has a oil capacity of 4.5 liters. So this jug right here is 4.73 liters. So we'll basically do the whole entire thing minus just a little bit here. I'm just going to pour the new oil in. So you can see here on the bottom, this is your indicator here, so we'll drain this all the way down until there's just a little bit left. Just put our cap back on here. And that is pretty much it. Take the car off the jack stands, and that should do it. So one thing that I forgot to mention is you're going to want to reset the oil life on your menu here. So if you hit menu again to see remaining oil life, there's a set clear button you're going to hit. It's going to ask you, are you sure you want to reset? Click that to up, so it says yes. Hit set again, and now it's at 100%. So now you are good to go. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.